Hey everyone, it's been a wild week in the world of AI. And again, here's another update from myself on everything I've consumed, and let's see what happened. It began this week with a deep look at Anthropic's latest release, Claude Opus 4.5, and two videos broke down exactly why this model is a game changer for coding agentic tasks. Claude's improved benchmark scores on tests like Squeebench, the software engineering benchmark tests, and innovative features like tool search and programmatic tool calling are raising the bar on how we think about AI integration and developing resources. Again, 4.5, great tool, quite expensive so far, but apparently it's meant to be a lot more efficient. So it should be about 70% efficient. And in the long term should be a lot cheaper for you to actually run these models. So I've been using it. It's been doing great so far. And Lovable by Dtalk has that on, as I've noticed in the last few days. In a head-to-head comparison, another video even details how Opus 4.5 managed to edge out Google Gemini 3 Pro in core coding tasks. In Gemini 3 Pro came out, it was the leader. Next day, 4.5 came out on Anthropic. It became the leader. Aside from the raw numbers, what really interesting is what people are calling the human-like behavior and metacognitive domains, where it's doing problem solving and thinking to itself about something that it did, and if it solved it one way, then it can do it another way. Really just another level of like the reason. I know what people think it's cheating and they get wrong people in the way they think about basically it's a statistical program. It's not an actual being smart. You can do it on its own. Another benchmark detailed performance metrics compares their output between 5.1, Gemini 3 Pro, and Anthropic 4.5. All of them are now doing those weird things with the bar charts where they're just showing the lowest sniffed. So when you see the difference from 70 to 72, it looks huge. Whereas you show from 0 to 100 and the gap would be tiny. That's how they're shown and skewing the results. On the competitive landscape, that's really just these three top models that have now come out of the last few weeks. And it's forcing all the major players apparently to reevaluate what they're doing. Apparently, Gemini 3 has shook the OpenAI team, who haven't been able to make as many leaps as what Google has in their models. And Google is probably more poised to take away the market now compared to what they were with their initial Bard release, which since very rushed and was a terrible solution at the con. Nvidia's earnings blew everyone away. Again, they exceeded the expectations, what everyone was thinking was going to happen from the models. So that was a great outcome. Again, Google is another maker of chips, not just a consumer like everyone else. So that's an interesting thing there for the market and how that's going to go into this positioning. Really, it's a lot of things. Is there still an AI bubble? I don't know. If Nvidia didn't hit the earnings call, is a little bit of a bubble and saying it's going to pop. They've exceeded the earnings call, so they're saying that they're fueling the bubble and they're making it grow. I don't understand if it's the bubble or not, but they're all just doing that. It's an interesting market because the infrastructure that are released, the demand is still there. So is it a bubble if there's actual demand for the actual services, not just the stock and the shares? So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It's still going to take time. Much of an economist who has a comment on that, really. But there's still so much innovation and breakthroughs that are happening along with all these different market forces that's seen whether there is an AI bubble or not. I'm not sure. But there is a lot of money, a lot of corporate ships, e-focus, if you're getting these. Market sentiment is still positive. Everyone wants to use these things and the demand is still outstripping its supply of what's actually possible. Gun benchmarks, we saw a slew of exciting product optimizations. Nano Banana, again, amazing image editor. I just did a one now less than 5 minutes of a really crappy prompt and I've got an image, amazing output out of it. Like it's really changed the ability to generate images. And I think it's getting to a point where it's becoming difficult to tell fake and real videos. I saw an image in Instagram's pop up or TikTok quite a few times about Donald Trump. That's Bill Clinton, Bubba version, Apparently it's a fake image, never created. It's got Google Sync ID watermark, which is their thing they're embedding inside of images so that people can identify that they are AI generated images. Meanwhile, it's also a insane vehicle about every corner of the internet and the world having AI being put into it. Windows 11 is going to have a new agent editor or designer version into it. So you can then get agents to duplicate from the consumer. At some point, I'm not sure when that's being released, but it was talked about. There's also Meta's new segmentation models, which help segment or track objects inside of English. Again, I tested this during the week for a client. Amazing response, amazing output, what it can do and what it can defect to really minute things that you wouldn't think you'd be able to find in a picture it found. So that was amazing. They don't have to run our own image detection models and issue that we were doing for that program. OpenAI stepped off with a feature-centric ChatGPT workspace and encoding for 5.1 Codex Max. They have the worst names in the world. It's just still so much more stuff happening all the time. It doesn't change. It's becoming even more difficult to keep up with it. The last 2 weeks has been really crazy. Again, No conversations about the ethics that models will be complete if they look at the ethical implications. One particular intriguing video discussed emergent AI misalignment and reward hacking, where models may inadvertently develop chaotic evil behaviors in trying to optimize their outcomes. These discussions remind us that an AI system becomes more advanced and more human-like. You need to prioritize safety, policy compliance, and robust risking protocols. So again, everyone needs to be careful of what's happening. These models can get broken, they can be jailbroken, they can be broken, whatever term you want to use. The interesting space with what these are coming up, especially last week, based on what we had with the anthropic code being used for a cyber attack. That's an interesting position. All in all, it's another deep dive into showing us that AI is constantly evolving. You're nearing the 3 years of ChatGPT, factoring for a video on that as well, but that reported just not released yet. Waiting for the anniversary date. Again, those benchmarks are going to keep on coming. More videos will be discussing those benchmarks and improvement this year as they keep moving. Thanks for watching. Good luck keeping up with everything until next week. If you've got any ideas on how to improve these, let me know.